Good morning, students. Welcome to the class 2 of Applied Component.
I am Benazir Sheikh, Department of Chemistry from NB Mehta Science College, Bordi. Students, in our previous class, we have discussed about the difference between drug and medicine. We have seen that chemistry is a branch of science. We have learnt that all medicines are drugs, but not all drugs are medicines. We have discussed the term drug. We have defined it in its general way and according to the World Health Organization. So students, chemistry plays an important role in everyday life. Say from the basic requirements of our life like food, shelter, clothes, medicines, water are basically chemical compounds. And pharmaceutical chemistry depends on organic, analytical, physical as well as inorganic and biochemical properties. So to understand the concept or the mode of action of drugs, their effects, their adverse effects on our parts of the body, reverse effects, the knowledge of biological science is very important. Students, most of the drugs were derived from plant sources. Today, whatever drugs we are using, majority of them are synthetic. That is, they have been prepared in the laboratories. Knowledge of chemistry of drugs not only help us to understand their uses but also about their abuses. The drugs often act differently in different people. So students, in our today's lecture, we are going to focus on the sources of the drugs and the requirements of an ideal drug. So students, let us discuss the sources of drugs. Drugs used presently come from the following sources. First is chemical synthesis, which constitute about 50% of the drug. Second, microorganisms, 12%, minerals, 7%, higher flowering plants, 25%, and animals, 6%. Remember students, the first three groups, which comprise 69% of drugs, are generally studied under medical chemistry. The last two groups, 31% of the total, are generally stressed in pharmacognosy. Let us see the sources of drugs with suitable examples. Students, first let us discuss about chemical synthesis, which includes organic synthesis as well as inorganic synthesis. Like for example, say a synthetic drug is produced using chemical synthesis which rearranges chemical derivatives to form a new compound. The synthetic sources of drugs evolved with human skills in the laboratory and advanced knowledge and understanding of phytochemical investigation. At present, majority of the drugs used in clinical practice are exclusively prepared synthetically in pharmaceutical and chemical laboratories. Students, one of the earliest synthetic drug was sulfonamide, which began with the synthesis of protonsyl dye. Other examples include aspirin or acetyl salicylic acid. Then next is oral antidiabetics, antihistamine. Synthetically manufactured drugs generally have higher yields that are significantly associated with quality, purity, and low cost. In a simple language, just remember that while carrying out a chemical reaction, we need a reactant molecule and some reagents so that we get the desired product. Okay, so which further requires some special equipments like reaction vessels or chemical reactors or round bottom flask. So the amount of product that is produced in a chemical synthesis, we can term it as reaction yield. And we know that reactions are generally of two types, that is single step reaction and multi-step reaction. For example, a laboratory synthesis of paracetamol, it consists of 3 individual steps. On the other hand, if we are talking about inorganic synthesis and organometallic synthesis that are applied to the preparation of compounds, for example, consider the preparation of anti-cancer drug, that is cisplatin, which is obtained from potassium tetrachloroplatinate. Next is microorganisms. Students, several life-saving drugs have been historically derived from microorganisms. Microorganisms have great potential as natural sources of drugs for the treatment and prevention of diseases like cancer, diarrhea, anemia, obesity, diabetes, etc. They are also potential sources of vitamins, enzymes, and antibiotics. Students, we can say that about a third of all medicines used in the clinic are derived from microbes and plants. Includes antibiotics like penicillin, numerous drugs used in cancer chemotherapy, and cholesterol lowering drugs. Consider few more microbiological sources of drugs which you need to remember. Next source of drug is minerals. Students, both metallic and non-metallic sources have been used as drugs since ancient times. Our body requires trace elements of minerals in order to maintain homeostasis, which is defined as follows. Patients lacking an adequate level of these materials must take specific mineral-based drugs to raise the level of minerals. For example, ferrous sulfate is used in iron deficiency anemia. Aluminium hydroxide and sodium bicarbonates are used as antacids for hyperacidity and peptide ulcers. Zinc oxide ointment can be used as skin protectant in wounds and eczema, and selenium can be used for anti-dandruff. Our next source of drug is higher flowering plants, which constitute about 25% of the drugs. Students, plant sources is considered as the oldest source of drugs. Most of the drugs in ancient times were derived from plants. Almost say all parts of the plants are utilized, that is leaves, stem, barks, fruits and roots. Students, the leaves of Digitalis purpurea are the sources of digitoxin and digoxin, which are cardiac glycosides. Leaves of eucalyptus gives oil of eucalyptus, which is important component of cough syrup. Tobacco leaves gives nicotine, and we know that nicotine is found in cigarettes. Atropa belladonna gives atropine, a drug which is important in pesticide poisoning. From flowers, Poppy papaver somniferum gives morphine. It's an opioid. Vinca rosea gives vincristine and vinblastine, generally cancer medication. Rose gives rose water used as tonic. From fruits, Cenapod gives anthracene, which is purgative, that is, the drug used in constipation. From seeds, castor oil seeds gives castor oil. In case of roots, reserpine was used for hypertensive treatment. Cinchona bark gives quinine and quinidine, which are anti-malarial drugs. N-stem could be used in general anesthesia. Last is animal sources. Many important drugs are derived from animal sources. For example, pancreas is a source of insulin that is used in the treatment of diabetes. Cod liver oil is used as a source of vitamin A and D. Blood of animals is used in the preparation of vaccines. So students, these were some of the sources of drugs in detail with suitable examples. Let us move on to our next topic. Requirement of an ideal drug. Well students, an ideal drug should be one which should not disturb the physiological process, harmless to the host and destroy harmful organisms. And it should have minimum side effects, maximum effect. It should be water soluble. Let us discuss in detail. An ideal drug should satisfy the following requirements. When administered to the ailing individual or host, its action should be localized at the site where it is desired to act. However, in actual practice, there is no drug which behaves in this way. It generally tends to distribute itself anywhere in the tissues of the host. It should act on a system with efficiency and safety. It should not have any toxicity. It should have minimum side effects. And it should not injure the host tissues or physiological processes. Moreover, the cells should not acquire tolerance or resistance to the drug after some time. In actual practice, the cells which were originally susceptible to the action of the particular drug may after some time acquire a tolerance or resistance to that drug. So students, very few drugs satisfies all the above conditions. So we can say the search for an ideal drug still continues. So students, in today's lecture, we have discussed about the sources of drugs and the requirements of an ideal drug. In our next lecture, we shall be focusing on classification of drugs based on therapeutic action. Till then, take care.